So who wants to give an opening prayer?
I'll give it.
Okay.
Our beloved Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day, and we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to, as a group, we're grateful for our many blessings, and we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to learn and to study. Please help us in this case study that we might be able to understand it and to come up with the answers that we need to. We're grateful, Father in heaven, for this group, and please bless Andrew that wherever he is, that he might have thy spirit to be with him and that he'll be able to join us. And we're grateful for our Savior, Jesus Christ, and we're grateful for this time of year that allows us to reflect on what we're grateful for. And we humbly ask for these things and do so in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Does anyone have a spiritual thought?
I don't.
I don't have one. I don't think I have one. I can't think of anything right now. So I guess we'll move on. What are the possible causes of Progresso's poor sales performance? What options are available to improve performance? Which elements of the business model are validated? And why do you think so? And share alternative points of view.
One of the things that I was thinking while I was reading is that they didn't have like much how can I say that, capable person on the sales team, because those people need pretty much to stay on account to those Hispanic, like they said, that they needed a team, that they understand the problem, that they should work with them, like, so
Sat in front of your door.
those people had a better training on how to do that, on how convince the customers they were the best option to help them with their financial burdens. I think that's one of the problems. They didn't have those trainings. They didn't have like weekly reports to better track the numbers and stuff. So I think it was one of the main problems that caused all that. They didn't have a better control of their internal operations.
I think you're right, Victoria. I think that they do that. One of the things that I liked about the business model and how it was validated is that instead of being like a title loan company or, you know, some of these other companies that are just out to get your money, they were out to teach them about debt, and they were out to teach them about repaying back their loans and things like that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mackenzie ignored us the whole time.
I'm sorry. She was asking me something.
No, you're totally fine. But I also think too that you're right, Victoria. It was the lack of their sales manager being able to get where they needed. I also think too where they went wrong is when they teamed up with Sears. Their employees only got profit or like a benefit if they sold the Sears card, or loan or whatever, instead of like getting props for doing Progressos too.
Yeah, they didn't have a very good compensation program, so
Right.
they didn't have like a lot of motivation to work hard. I felt like most of the people just sat there to receive the $8 an hour, and that was it.
Yep.
Yeah. So like my company right now, it's a mess. They just fired their like top sales representatives because they were making the most money. So now everybody just kind of like sits back and barely meets their quotas because they don't want to get fired for making more money. And that's like the opposite problem that they had. Like they weren't giving them enough incentive, whereas ours, they have a lot of incentive in place. But the people who were meeting all of those and getting all of them, they got fired because the company didn't want to pay them that anymore.
That's very bad.
Yeah, I was like, that's a really bad decision. That's a horrible business decision.
Same thing happened to me. I've been working for like a year, over a year, working hard on my position to be the best at my team. And then when I was finally making like 6,000 a half a month on commission, they're like, hey, we wanted to offer you another position, like receiving at least like less of the that I was receiving. I was like, okay, wait a minute. You have offered
Hold
me a promotion to get a pay cut? That's not a promotion. They're like, no, we want you the manager of business development because of this.
Yeah.
And then I figure out like, okay, my team is gonna make a lot of money, and they don't want to pay me the 10% anymore because they're already like ready. So I was like, thank you, I don't wanna the other position, and screw you.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
quit.
That's awesome.
I was so offended.
That's hard because it really, like, if that's what businesses are really doing, that's like how crazy that you would take your best performers and that you would remove them from your company because they're making a ton of money. But how much revenue are they bringing in
Yeah. No.
to the company?
It-
That's crazy.
They were selling, like, their top sellers were selling probably, I think they sold about $350 million contracts a year. And it was the top 3 of them that they let go. And I was just like, that was a bad decision, guys. A bad decision.
Yeah, because they send the wrong message to
That's
the rest
crazy.
of the team, and then I affect the entire culture of the company.
Yeah. It
On the
did.
long term, that's a very bad decision.
Yeah.
I also think too, like, okay, so I forget their names. Sorry, you guys. But the second dude that he brought on, what was his name?
I don't know.
So Gutierrez is the main guy, and then he brings in. You're gonna have to forgive me. Let me find it.
I guess.
Who?
Was Gonzalez?
Was it Gonzalez or was it somebody else? Cortez.
Cortez.
He brings in Cortez. Good night, bud. Good job tonight.
Thanks.
When he brings in Cortez, and like, it makes me wonder sometimes if like they get greedy. So when he went and opened more and tried to get more sales, is he getting greedy? And so that's where they go wrong. And that's why he wasn't making any money, because Cortez was like, okay, I'm going to go open all of these other things and I'm going to start selling to all these other places. And then he gets greedy, and that's what breaks down in this business model. I don't know, just a thought.
No, I agree. I see a lot of that happened on the previous case as well, on the noodles of company. Like they were just worried about open more and more stores before fixing the internal first,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next question. How much profit does Progresso earn on a new loan with the current number of loans per month at a grocery store location? How many new loans do they need per location to break even?
I haven't done the math yet.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
Some weird numbers, but I haven't done it.
It wasn't easy to understand. Usually I try to come up with something quick, but
Let me see, because I've got the formula right here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay. So the expected value and interest and fees for a loan is 180 for a new loan plus the expected value of a renewal loan. So it would be, sorry, what was the question again?
How much profit do they earn on the new loan with the current number of loans per month at the grocery store location?
Which question is that?
Number 4.
Oh,
Number 4.
okay.
So I'm going to say it's about, so the figure that I got was 93.6.
You multiply the 77 for what?
What do you mean the 77? Where are you looking the 77?
On the number 4, isn't it the 77 loans per? Are we in the same page? Same thing? Oh, never mind. I'm on the prep assignment.
Well, that's what I'm looking at too. So I'm trying to figure out which unit profit. Okay. I don't know the answer to that one, Mackenzie.
I know. I don't either. We could all work on the math and then email it to each other and see what we get as answers. And that way Andrew can see it too.
I think that's a good idea.
I'll try to work later.
Okay. So moving on. As a group, you must change the current compensation plan to improve the number of loans made per month. You can change the variable amount, the number of loans needed to receive a payout, and/or fixed compensation. Do not waste time trying to figure out a way to break even with a lower number of loans. The board will not go for that.
The compensation of the employees, what I would suggest is instead of like having to reach each number to start receiving compensation, I would say like after the first deal or the first 5 deals, they start making like $5 more for each deal they close. So instead of that would push them harder. So instead of like reaching a certain amount of numbers to start making commission, they would make like even like a little small as $5 more for each. They would start like it would motivate them better. I think so.
I agree.
So you're saying to incentivize them for each loan that they get?
After already the first one, because they only get compensation after a certain number. I think was like 25. Can't remember the exact number. So instead of waiting until have 25, already get compensation like a small amount of like $5 or something just to motivate them more.
Or even if it was like an accruing compensation. So every time you sell a loan, like the amount of percentage that you make off the commission goes up. So like say you start out as making like 1% commission, but each loan you sell, you get like a specific adage to that.
A progression commission, right? I love that idea. I think that would be great too.
Because then you would have more people wanting to sell that type of loan, because then you would be getting more from that, but then the company would be benefiting by more loans too.
Yeah, and you would have to put a cap on it, like so they're not making like 50% of the commission, but you would put a cap on it. So like say once you reach a specific amount, but if you drop below like your sales, your normal like building, then your percentages would go down.
So in this plan, like how many loans do you think that they would need?
They want 70 a day, right?
70 a day?
A month. No, 70 a month, right? Is there a goal? Is there a goal? Because it depends. The Sears one had a goal, and the other location had a different goal.
Yeah, I think it was 77 at the grocery store location. That's crazy. Like, I've never thought about something like that at a grocery store. Would you guys?
No.
I went to a supermarket here. What's the name? Not Rancheritos. It's a Hispanic one, and I actually saw something similar to Progresso Financiero inside.
Wow.
Well,
and it was full.
I think it's a really cool concept, and I think it's a really cool business model, because they're not out just to get the money. They're out to help people who normally wouldn't get loans here or get credit, to build their credit and to build capability in them to pay off their stuff.
Yeah.
Night, babes.
And they find a different way to check credit instead of credit score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way cool concept, but you would have to definitely get people on board and pay them to stay on board to sell for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you've made your changes to the compensation plan, develop a broader action plan to include specific activities. Will you manage activities or results? Will you keep your current AEs? Do you expect them to stay with the new compensation plan? And where will you find new AEs if the current ones leave?
I think you could find new ones within your customer base, couldn't you?
Yeah. It's another way to build credit. So people who are looking for something like that and they could pay off their loan, like you could offer them deals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. More of an incentive to them. And then those who are like continually paying off theirs and continually like keeping their loans up, they would be good A&Es too, or AEs. What does that mean?
I don't remember.
And I think in order to keep the ones that you already have, like we've talked about earlier in the other questions, is to incentivize them.
They're account executive.
Oh, there you go. I think in order to retain who you have, if you really wanted to retain them, there would have to be some type of incentive to keep them on.
Yeah. They would have to revise their compensation plan.
And they should have, like on the missionary field, when the missionary have to report back to their area
Like their district
or something, like their progress. I think they should have like one-on-one progress and like monthly team to check their progress and stuff. They wouldn't.
You could
they didn't.
You could even do like a weekly progress, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, kind of like an A&E meeting. Just have them meet together, and then you could talk individually as you go.
Yeah.
Like, what do we need to fix to like build to get more than what we've got? And then those who are like struggling can stay and like talk individually with those who know what's going on.
It reminds me of the return and report. You got to return and report the things that are going well, and then the things that aren't going well. That's where you would like collaborate with one another and figure out how to change what's going wrong.
At work, they have this 5 whys thing where you have to ask 5 whys if something went wrong, and then ask how to fix it. So like you have to act like a toddler essentially when you're asking a question, like, why did this go wrong? Well, this happened. Well, why? Then why did that go wrong? Well, why? And like you have to just keep going. And he's like, if you've ever like been around,
stop asking me that question.
I know. If you've ever been around a 3-year-old, you understand this concept. And I was like, I hate this concept, but I understand it.
Yeah. See, and one of the things that like my company uses is they call it an A3.
Yeah, we
and all of the, you know what that is? Victoria, do you know what that is?
The what? A3?
An A3.
Mm-mm.
It's like it's basically like an easy way to solve a problem. And you like have a challenge, you have your current condition and you have your target condition, and then you work through all the obstacles to fix whatever's wrong. So like that's what I would envision, something like that. You would just get together and say, okay, what obstacles are we facing? What ideas do we have? And then you'd kind of work through your system that way.
Yeah.
Basically your 5 whys.
Yeah, basically 5 whys, but on paper.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was all the questions.
Awesome.
I think we answered them fairly well for none of us, well, for Jill and I not understanding the case as much as we wanted to.
I know, this one was hard for me to wrap my head around tonight, so. Sorry.
Yeah. I still gotta figure out the math.
Once I have my done,
Me too.
I can send to you guys by email. But I probably will work on it tomorrow.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I plan on working on tomorrow. So
Yeah, because I'm going to go through this. This sheet's kind of confusing, so I need to go figure it all out again. So
yeah, I need to break down the case again and look at it.
me too.
So, but this helped. It helped me like. I like talking through it. It helps like solidify ideas in my head.
It makes me feel smarter after I talk to you guys.
I didn't get what. I don't know how to come up with a hypothesis yet.
For this case?
Yeah.
I think your hypothesis is basically just what direction you want the company to go in. So like, what's your compensation plans like? My hypothesis is that they should compensate their employees to keep them. And if they want to keep them, they have to do this in order to keep them. So like, if your compensation plan is on an accrual basis, or if you want them to reach a specific number and then they get a payout, or whatever it is, like have that be your hypothesis. I think that would be probably the most straightforward way to do it.
Awesome.
Because then it's easy to do alternatives too.
Or you could even base it on Sears too. Like, how are you going to keep Sears because Sears is like their biggest issue, right? Because they're wanting to back out.
Yeah.
But is that a way to convince them once they already said that they don't want anymore?
I guess if the price is right.
Yeah, it's whatever you think the company should be doing. It's kind of what the analysis is. It's just your take on the company. So,
hey, you guys.
All righty, kids. Just kidding. You're not kids, but.
Sometimes.
Okay, we will. So I'll email my stuff too when I get it figured out. And then we'll meet next Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I hope Andrew's okay.
Me too. Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, you guys.
Good night.